Good morning and hello. Welcome to the Fiberific Live Crafting Chat. Sorry about the delay getting started. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me, if you can see me, all that kind of stuff. It's been a little bit of a morning. Believe it or not, I don't know if you guys could hear because I realized the mic was not muted, so that's never a good sign. I couldn't work out how to get a lid back on the jar for the lights in the background. I was sort of sitting here like, okay, right, I'm ready. And then I've looked at the screen because I've got a monitor here and I'm looked at it and I'm like, there's no lights on in the background. So I'm like running around, putting all the lights on in the background. Kelly says everything's working. I got the music this time too. Hello to everybody in the chat. So music is back. So I had a big chat with some of my, YouTube creator buddies and to find out the best solution for what I wanted to do. And so I did that, and we do have the videos with their audio back in because, this software is cool. So everyone had music, which is great. John says he can't hear me and see me. Is that really, John? Hey, Jennifer Brown, it's so good to see you again. Welcome to the Fiberific Live Craft and Chat. Thank you, Kim. I just needed to confirm because, sometimes it's live. This is what happens on live video. Okay. Everything's good. You look even better in 4K. I don't need to know this. You know how I feel about this stuff, Lisby. You've got all your craft is on your lap, I'm sure, now that you are able to be home and crafting. All right. She's nearly here at 5K. Okay. So what have you all been working on? Let me know in the chat. What projects have you been working on this week? I'm just having a quick squeeze. I've got a few extra screens up so that I can monitor things a little bit better or a bit differently. As you who regularly watch the live streams know, I don't just sit with a way that works and stay with it. I tweak and play and try and make it better for everybody. Doesn't always work out that way, and sometimes it's trash. So, we will always be playing and trying to make the live streams more interesting and more fun. Game Widows was spinning but had to stop to rest her sorry, I clicked Kim's but was reading the game. I'm going to read the Game Widows one first. Was spinning but had to stop to rest my elbow. Sometimes we have to do that. Sometimes we have to stop something that we're thoroughly enjoying to give our bodies a little break. The muscles and all the tendons and things in our body don't always want to do what we want to do when we want to do it. It feels like that's my life. Kim has been a red emoji. So running around being a red emoji. Kelly Pole is knitting a fisherman's rib cowl on larger needles, so it's really relaxing. Oh my gosh, that is nice. That is nice. John has been doing some Tunisian simple stitch that he frogged back because he was just playing. And that's okay. Reclaim that yarn. Learn a skill and reclaim the yarn. Yarn is not free in this world. Okay. That's what I was trying to do. I was trying to bring up. There was something I wanted to see. What did I want to see? Oh, that's what I wanted to see. I needed to just double check my connection because I've worked out how to bring my connection up. Okay. Right. All right. Xbox. Everyone's reading the Xbox. Lisby needs, I need to find Tunisian shoots to play with your new hooks. Yeah, Lisby just received the ChowGoo T-Spin hook set. So she is going to be doing all the fun things. Go. Lauren Miller says hi to everybody. Hey, Lauren, how are you? Jackie says this is a good thing about our crafts. We can claim a lot of our materials back. And I want to talk more on this point because not everybody feels that way. And there's definitely things that need to be done to make our materials reusable to their best ability. And so, Jackie, you and I as spinners, we automatically just toss it onto a nitty-notty and give it a wash and then put it back into a ball because that's part of our process of creating yarn. We will spin the yarn, ply the yarn, then pop it onto a nitty-notty, which makes it into a nice hank or a swift or whatever you want to do, and then give it a wash. And that's part of our natural process as spinners. But as yarn crafters who don't spin, they are used to just getting the yarn either in a hank or in a ball, and then it's good to go. So there's a few steps that you can do, and you can really, you do need to rehank it because what happens, especially if you're using wool or something with the memory, it keeps the little kinky bits and makes it less nice. And this isn't to say you can't just work straight back into the next project, like be working away on one as the other one diminishes. You can totally do that. It is up to you. It is your craft and we are not the craft police. But if you are turning that yarn into something that's delicate or fine, what you'll find is your tension will be out because you'll be knitting along and it will be allowing for the kinks. So you need to give it a wash, give it a hang, and see how it goes from there. And sometimes it's still a little kinky, but it's not as wiggly as beforehand. So yeah, anyway, back into the chat. Alison says, I'm knitting a poncho called My Chocolate Mint Poncho by Jennifer Brooks Rice out of my handspun while trying to get rid of an annoying cold. I know those feels. All too well. So speaking of chocolate mint, in my teacup today, I can't, can you see there's milk in there? I've got milky tea today. I went with the choc mint slice tea that comes from Tea from Talia. So if you're in Australia, you need to check out Tea for Talia. This is amazing. Like to the point, okay, like you guys know how I feel about this, but there is milk in my tea thermos. I don't put, this is the first time I felt very weird doing it, let me tell you. I felt very weird adding milk to the tea thermos. Wow, your nails blend with the cup. Well, they do a little bit. Nails are a bit blue this week. But that poncho sounds amazing as well. That poncho sounds amazing. Leanne has missed the start, but that is okay, Leanne, because I was running late. So you haven't missed much at all. So this morning I'm all like, yeah, everything's going great. You know, got Abby off to work early, got home, did some stuff to make sure we had the music for our pre-stream roll and things like that, got all that sorted and recorded and done. Like, yeah, I'm going to go make a cuppa, and I've come out and I'm like sitting here and getting ready to go live. And then realized the camera input wasn't coming into the software. And I'm just like, oh no, this is bad. And just had to quickly just on the fly I had to do a quick reboot, bit of a fix. But we're here now. I'm just going to have some more tea because I've been a bit frazzled. Jackie and Sally are in here with the links. Tea for Talia. Her tea is amazing. She's down in New South Wales. She makes so many nice blends. The choc mint slice is one of my favorites, and her French Earl Grey, hello. Or is it French Earl Grey or Lady Grey? I can never remember what it's called. I know which one I want. I'll have to look at the packet inside. Game Widow says, I drank through my mint slice tea I got at the retreat. May have ordered more. See, it's good, isn't it? It's so good. And like, I don't add sugar to my tea. And I don't like sweet beverages. I don't like those caramel lattes and things like that. I like a latte, but I don't like a caramel latte. And I love that this is so tasty but not like in your face sweet. So I'm loving it. I love it. Anyway, sorry, talking about that. Today's live stream is called Is Blocking New? Now, it's not just this week. It's quite often. And the bear has been poked quite a few times in the last few days. I'm looking at you, Lisa. And one of the things that does get on my goat is this conversation of blocking and all, you know, all the things that go with it. Okay, so the joke comment, it's not a joke comment, that's the worst way to put it. Anyway, the comment that I find the most amusing, or probably the most like pokey, is people who come in with their, I've been knitting for 60 years and I've never blocked a thing. So in my brain goes probably to a different place than theirs. My brain goes, oh my God, I hope you don't give those away. Because blocking is part of the process. Look at this. You guys are hilarious. Blocking is a process. And you know what? It's not a new thing. I did a bit of research, just a really fast Google search. And I found articles written back in 2003, which doesn't sound that long ago, but people, that's nearly 20 years ago. Like, just throwing that out there. Okay. And it's one of those things. It's not new. But the terminology may have changed. Now we have a look at, oh, here we go. Here's John. I've never blocked anything I've knitted. I'm sure you haven't, John, who is a crocheter and not a knitter. But blocking is for all crafts, okay, all yarn crafts. And what blocking actually is, it is a process, and it's a one-word term to describe a large process, okay? So if you wash and then lay out and shape, whether it's with pins or without, and allow to dry in your set shape, you have blocked a thing, okay? And if you are giving away your projects and they are not washed, what are you thinking? Honestly, because you may be in a smoke-free, pet-free, atmosphere-free environment, whatever, but you're still touching it. Unless you're working on that thing 100% in gloves with a mask, you need to wash it. And it's not just because of the current climate. It's because as humans, our bodies secrete natural oils. You can't see them, but unless your hands are dry as a, I'm not even going to say it, I was about to, so dry as the Sahara Desert, then you are secreting your natural hand oils into your project. You may be excessively tidy. You may be so clean and like so much so that people around you comment on how tidy you are. This is not me. But you still have to touch the project to create it. Your hand has touched just about every single stitch. Whether you are knitting, you are spinning, or you are crocheting, you need to wash something before you give it away. And I've seen conversations where people are talking about, oh, if you wash it, then it's not new. No, that's trash. That's rubbish talk right there. Every single factory will give a garment some form of cleaning, even if they're like dipping it in formaldehyde. The cheapest, nastiest places in the world give all of their garments some kind of clean and press, okay? Whether it's a dodgy do not recommend or a amazing process, all of them go through a process. So if that's the case, every article of clothing that we purchase from a store is also secondhand if you are using the if it's been washed it's secondhand logic. I'm sorry, this has really been bugging me, and I know how much you guys I'm going to say love it, when I get on my soapbox. So sorry if this is your first time here at Fiberific. Welcome to Fiberific. I have little things that tick me off in the yarn crafting world, and this is one of those things. I'm just going to have a quick look in the chat because there's some things hitting my peripheral that I'm like not saying that out loud. Okay, blocking is an overarching term for many methods of shaping your final piece. Absolutely. It is an array of processes, and it's just a simplified term of blocking, because we also say cooking, don't we? When we could mean baking, broiling, boiling, steaming. Yeah, it's cooking, and it's the same. It's blocking, okay? So here we go, Sally, with some honesty. Bring it in, Sally. I never used to block because I was too lazy. But did you realize you needed to block? Because this is the thing. Not everybody knows that they need to block. And that's okay too. My issue is with people who say that it's not necessary, that they don't do it, when they probably in reality are, or those people that intentionally do not wash something. Here we go, Leanne, this is the thing. This is where it comes up the most, isn't it? Especially if a person wants advice on how to block. And what's with that answer? They don't have to give the answer, I've never blocked a thing. Scroll on, your advice wasn't asked for. Exactly. The number of times I've gone to comment on something and then I'm like, nope, I'm not needed for this, and scroll on. Because we don't need to reply to every single comment in every random group. Now, if it is your group and it is an area that you create, your comment could be, I'm really sorry, I can't help, I don't block, but maybe somebody else could. That is a valid response so that a person still feels heard, especially if nobody has commented. And sometimes we'll post a question and it is crickets. There's nobody there to help. And so you're wondering, are people seeing this? So having someone write a nice comment like that, but I've never blocked a thing in my life, is blocking a new thing. Blocking is not a new thing. It is not a new thing. I'm not putting Kim's thing up. Jen says, I block natural fibers, but not acrylic, but I do wash all of the things though. Well, then technically speaking, you are still, when you lay out your acrylic after you've washed it, do you double check that the shape is how you want it? Do you mush it around and play with it laying down or peg it a specific way? Because that's all forms of blocking. So you may be blocking acrylic without realizing. It doesn't have to be a steam block and it doesn't have to be a wet block. But as long as you are mushing with the shape, that is technically blocking. Here we go. I can show countless pictures of before and after blocking. And even though blocking really annoys my lower back, it's totally worth it for the difference. And I agree. I don't enjoy the process of blocking. I don't mind pinning things out. That's fine. I actually quite like blocking lace shawls. My back doesn't like it. It really doesn't like it. But I do it because I've just spent 100 hours making a thing. Am I going to skimp on the last hour and make it look trash? Hell no. I'm going to pop a painkiller and start pinning and blocking and getting that thing to look as schmick as possible to show all of your amazing and beautiful hard work and your color choices and everything that you have poured into it. Every single stitch matters. And if you don't block your thing, there's stitches that are hidden and rolled under things and squished up together. You've got to block. You've got to wash it. You've got to prepare it. Now, there's gently blocking. My favorite type of blocking is the aggressive blocking that you do with lace weight, when you're doing lace knitting especially, because it's like it could be like this little gentle bloop of a thing, and then when you aggressively block it, it just turns into this enormous thing. And you don't realize how far it can go. And then you're reading the pattern and they're like, you will pull this until it's this size. And you're like, really? Am I not going to snap it? Is it not going to break? And then you're very gently pulling on it and it's working. I'm just catching up with the chat here. Bub, correct. You also lose skin cells. Your skin, your DNA is in the project. Now, I know your hair gets in it. My hair gets in everything. I reckon I could shave my head and somehow my hair would still end up in everything because it is just everywhere. People lose hair all the time, okay? Maybe not if I shave my head. Maybe I should shave my head. But it is just everything needs a clean. It just needs a little clean. If I wash and then throw it in the dryer, does that count as blocking? Well, you've washed it, so it's technically part of the blocking process. It's on you. It's your project. You can do whatever you want. I know with acrylic blankets and cotton blankets, I will wash them and toss them in the dryer and call them good, right? And even ones that I've gifted, I'll put them onto a nice gentle dryer cycle so they don't melt anything and let it have a nice tumble around. But I will double check that it hasn't pushed it all out of shape. So here we go. I'm just having a quick look here. The chat just moved, so I'm just scrolling back up to see what I've missed. Stacey Fiken has jumped in late. Hey, Stacey, you just jumped into the thick of it. Here we go. I want to finish my queen so I can wash it because it low-key smells a bit like hand sweat. Yeah, my queen does too. Maybe it's the thing with the queens. They're very, very tightly crocheted and lots of weight of fabric. Yeah, agreed. Sometimes you just have to block the thing. Why put all the work into it and not be able to see it? Exactly my point. I've always washed and laid out my work. I've recently started also using pins to hold shape while it dries. That is blocking. Lisa, you are blocking. That is 100% blocking. Leanne says, I'm so in your corner. Thank you, Leanne. Rants are great. Rant on. Thank you, Ricky. Thank you. Yes to the soapboxes. Now, I quite often say I am not the craft police, okay? And I'm not. And because this is my YouTube channel, I'm allowed to give my opinion quite freely. And if you don't like it, like there's a button there somewhere. But if you are enjoying this, there's another button that says subscribe. And I'd really appreciate that, or a thumbs up, or just keep commenting and hanging out in the chat. If you're watching the replay, you can totally still comment and I will come back and I will reply to you. I know it's not the same as if you're here live, but I just can't swing it so that I'm available live for everybody's best time. I wish I could. Chantel Hills, Fiberific crafting truth bombs. I love that. I love it. Ruth says, I have blocked a lot of things. The last thing I blocked was a secret pattern that I tested. And that's a thing as well. Like you've done something for a designer where you have been, able to help and assist them. Imagine if you didn't bother blocking it. You're like, here's the photos. The designer would be like, thanks, I think. Like, thanks for your work. It looks not great, but double thanks. So it's awesome that you have blocked that. Alison says, but most knitting patterns always tell you to block your item at the end. Yeah, and it's very specific for knitting patterns that they do it because they understand that especially some of the stitches can cause the roll-ins and things like that. Now, a lot of knitting patterns now are in the round, but one thing I really loved back in the day, because I'm so old, is when you would knit a garment that had pieces and you block those pieces so when you're seaming together, everything is crispy and you get the perfect stitch lines. All of these things matter. They all matter. It all matters. It just depends on what you want. A lot of people think blocking is just a really stretchy block that you use on lace knitting. You're right. And this is the thing. There needs to be more education that blocking is an array of things that mean your finished item is washed and in its correct shape. Because I can tell you right now, I block beanies. But I'm not going to be stretching that elastic, all that hard ribbing work because I want it to be stretchy. But I will pop a little plate or whatever I can to get the top section nice and get those stitches nice and flat. Because that's the other thing that blocking does. It flattens out and makes your stitches all nice and so you can see your stitch definition a lot better. I'm yelling. I'm so sorry. I'm going to have a sip of my amazing tea that I've got hair in. That's great. Good job, Chantel. Well done. Sally, I think it was also because I only ever used acrylic and I didn't think I needed it or it could be blocked. Okay. So, and this is a legit question. This is a fair point. Acrylic is one of those special things because it has no memory, because it's acrylic, but it still needs the wash and the shape. So, you know what? You're not going to be in there with the, you know, the full on, like, you know, steam blocking your acrylic, because that will melt it, or, you know, heat blocking or anything like that. But you still want to give it a wash to get all that hand oils and skin cells and smell of the world out of your project. And also consider the giftee. So consider the person will be receiving it when thinking about what you're going to wash it in. Because a number of things I've received washed in lavender or highly scented stuff, I've got to rewash it and block it before I can unwrap it properly because of all my allergies. So think of the person that you're giving it to. Decide, would they prefer a non-scented option? Because there are so many things that you can buy to wash things out and block them in if you want. You can totally use just a little bit of hand soap or something very gentle. I probably wouldn't automatically go straight to washing liquid. I would consider what it's made out of and have a think about that. But standard wool wash, I'm out. I don't want that on my stuff. I tend to go for the Tantec, but that's because I'm a bit of a fan. And it's also lightly scented, which I love. And it's not in your face, but there's lots of options that you can go with. Jackie says acrylic doesn't block well. No, it doesn't. It doesn't at all. But those of you that did the Zoomy blankets, did you notice a difference in your squares when they were finished and your squares once they were blocked? Because everyone was supposed to block their squares before they sent them in. Okay, and there was an actual difference. And I can tell you, as a person putting a Zoomy blanket together, it made fixing the blanket pieces together so much easier because everything was washed and laid out. It just made a big difference. Alison, hell no, it's definitely not a new thing. No, it's definitely not. And the number of comments and things that I see about, oh, this must be a newfangled thing. It's not new. It's maybe the term blocking has only been around for 20 or 30 years, short of like actually blocking a felt hat or something like that. But maybe the actual overall encompassing umbrella term of blocking has only been around for 20 odd years, but that's 20 years. That's not a week. That's 20 years. That's some crafters' entire lives. So they only know blocking. They only know what it is. Lindsay says you have to steam acrylic for it to set. I'm personally a fan of steam blocking acrylic. It does depend on the final product. If I'm making a blanket, I tend not to steam block. I will just wash and shape the blocks and then stitch them together. And sometimes, depending, if it's taken me a long time to stitch it together, I will even rewash it after that, because I will wash it and then fold it up and wrap it and gift it. Well, I'll let it dry first, but do you know what I mean? Because my hands, again, have been all over every single piece. Claire Mason, welcome to the chat. Great topic. I think blocking is part of the finishing process regardless of the craft. I 100% agree. Lauren has a blocking question. Lauren, throw your blocking question in the chat. I'm getting there. Honestly, I'm getting there. Knit Spin Girl says, I love the magic of blocking lace. Me too. Absolutely. To me, that's part of because, I mean, those of you that have been here for a while know how much I love knitting lace. And that's a part of it. It's that whole transformation of this, oh, there's a pile of knitted fabric. That's great. And you even sort of mush it out and you're like, oh, that looks pretty. You block out your knitted lace and it is a whole new world. You basically pin it out and it goes, whoa, at you, like ready. It's beautiful. Or even just washing it in the machine, was never sure if I could or not. So again, think about what it is that you've made, because it will vary, okay? So if you've made a blanket or something like that, a good blanket cycle on your machine, or a gentle wash if you don't have a blanket cycle with a low spin, that should be fine, but it's going to come down to how well you tied off those ends, because sometimes that throw in the machine, but also consider the person you're gifting. Are they going to be the kind of person who wants to throw it in the machine and the only way they're going to look after it is throwing it in the machine? Then you need to make sure that it can handle a run. And so maybe a test run through for you to find any weak spots is not a bad thing. I'm just jumping through. I use my cement water tanks, which are waist high and in the full sun. Love seeing my finished items blocked. Now, I will tend to machine wash big blankets, like cotton blankets and things like that, but I will hand wash anything else. So I will literally go and grab a bucket, like a clean bucket, but a bucket, some Tantex, I'll read the instructions, probably a little bit of warm, like lukewarm water, not cold, but not hot, and very gently you just want to rest it in there. You don't need to be like giving it a scrub. It just needs a chance for the detergents and the surfactants to get in and remove all your hand grease. It's all you're doing. My aunt was a commercial crochet lady. The department store who were the buyers had specific requirements for the finishing items. She never blocked, but she did finish. Same thing in reality. Yes, absolutely. They are the same thing, finishing and blocking. But see, this is the thing. Quite often now, finishing is weaving in your ends and stitching the pieces together. A lot of people don't consider blocking as part of the process. Blocking is optional. No, it's not. Blocking is not optional. Your project is not finished unless you have finished stitching it together, you've woven in all the ends, and you've given it a wash and double-checked and trimmed any extra tails that came out after the wash. Then it's finished. In my opinion, as the owner of this YouTube channel who can say really whatever she wants, I mean, you can totally disagree. I mean, I'll probably, disagree loudly, but we can totally disagree. Lauren says, I'm knitting a pair of socks for my best friend and I'm using a silk superwash merino blend. How should I blush silk? I've heard it can stretch after blocking. Silk doesn't really stretch that much. Your merino will definitely have more stretch than your silk. And that is a caution for people that are and it's an excellent question, Lauren. It's a caution for people using blends because you have to think about each individual part of the blend in your washing process. And this goes into the regular day-to-day care as well. Your friend is very lucky to be getting silk superwash socks. I would hand wash them, but socks don't usually need like a huge amount of stretching. They just need like a little bit of shaping, and that should totally be fine. Tell folks to send Freaky all the chocolates, please. It jumped. It jumped. I've got to move back again. Got a new chatter. If you are new in today's chat, toss in that you're new here and it's your first time so we can say hi. Bob Curran says shampoo works. Absolutely. Ruth says I use baby laundry soap. And if that's what's okay for all of your different fibers, then go right ahead. I know one of the top spinners in the world, whose name just jumped right out of my head. Anyway, she does the most amazing fine spinning, and she is from New Zealand, and I can't think of her name. And in her videos in teaching people how to scour and look after their merino, she uses a block of sunlight soap, and she scrubs the lock of unspun into the sunlight. So much soap that it can't felt. So that's the thing to remember. And scrub, and then rinses it in the hot water, and she washes her locks one lock at a time because she's a lace weight spinner, and a lock gets you a long way. I'm just having a look. Bobby has a question. I don't understand why one blocks when the piece will be washed again. Okay, so before, when I was saying that I would block out all the individual pieces and then rewash it, the blocking process doesn't just make it look finished, it helps you to seam. So if you don't have your pieces blocked and they've got little curling in edges, or your stitches are hiding behind each other or what have you, or it's not the right shape, when you seam all the pieces together, your finished garment will look wrong. And it won't be until you wash it and block it again that you realize you may have missed a stitch down the side, but you couldn't tell because of how your original pieces looked. So sometimes it's laying things out and getting them just right first, means that you don't have to go back later and pull it out and restitch it. Not everybody agrees with me, and that is okay. I missed so much. This chat is so active today, you guys. It's so active. Knitspin Girl says blocking can completely change the drape and feel. Absolutely it can. So much. Alison says, I have a stash of frame squares from Bunnings that I connect together, then throw an old sheet over them and use a whole lot of T-pins and blocking pins to stretch out the item after washing it. That's what I do. That's my go-to. It's the old $5 pack of Bunnings foam squares. Kim's run away. So, you know, Jackie and Sally, you got to keep on top of Freaky. My tea is cold, and cold tea is not as enjoyable as cold coffee. I'll just top it up with my hot tea. I brought lots of tea today. I actually brought craft today, but I'm so engaged in our conversation. I hope you don't mind. But, you know, if it's because I'm like reading and, you know, so let me know if you want me to pull out the craft. I'm just working on my my Manic Monday cowl. It's nearly done. It's only got a few rows left to go. Let's have a look here. Knitspin Girl says that they block their hats on balloons. Good job. Good job. New comments. I'm just going to scroll to the bottom. Here we go. Think about the woolen spun Nordic fibers. They need blocking to remove the spinning oil and bloom. Otherwise, they look stringy. And that's the thing as well. A lot of commercially manufactured yarns, to run through all of the processes and the machinery that they have to run through, they are actually coated in a fine oil. Same if you're buying machine knitting yarn. So some people you can buy yarn specifically for running through knitting machines, and it is pre-coated in a very fine oil so that it can run through all the machinery. And you need to wash that stuff off so badly. Jen says blocking makes the item look finished. It gives it that professional look. Now, it's not to say that we're going for the hardcore must look shop bought look. No. But do you want to always be wearing something that everyone looks at and goes, she definitely made that? Like, this is the thing. Like, you know, we joke about not your grandma's crochet. And this is one of those things. Sometimes it comes down to how it's finished and how it's seamed and how it's blocked and how it's drapes, because the blocking changes the drape as well. You guys are being so naughty. You guys. Margaret Stove. That's it. Thank you, Knitspin Girls. Margaret Stove. It was in my brain. I couldn't think of it. Has anyone sent their acrylic blanket to the dry cleaner? No, I haven't. A lot of, like, you would need to talk to your dry cleaner and find out what they're using. I can understand why you would want to, because, like, seriously, blocking entire blankets and even just washing entire blankets is a pain, especially if you don't have a big washing machine. But you would definitely need to talk to your dry cleaner and maybe get them to spot clean a corner, because some of those dry cleaning chemicals could probably melt your acrylic blanket. But I would definitely check into it. We've got some amazing answers here for Lauren. Alison says that you can even bend an old wire coat hanger into a foot shape and use that as a sock blocker. If you Google sock blockers, you can actually download a template so that you can grab your cheapy wire coat hanger and bend it into a template of a sock blocker. And you'll realize very quickly it's just big enough to, you know, stretch on, like, and stay. It's not like super tight and hard to pull on. It's just enough just to sort of, it's kind of like this funny little tick shape, and it's just enough to hold it open so it dries with all your stitches flat. And the other thing is it does just keep the two sections of the sock just away enough so the little bit of air movement can get through and they dry a bit faster. Thank you, Mods, for jumping in there. I appreciate that. I'm just having a quick no wire hangers. Okay. Sorry, I had a flashback. Okay. Oh my goodness. Do you have any other questions about blocking or anything? Like, you know, since when do we ever have an entire stream on a single subject? That does not happen here. It is like shiny thing, move on to the next. So make sure if you've got any other of your yarn crafting questions that you can sorry, I could just hear something, but I think it's just the neighbors. Yeah, if you've got any other yarn crafting questions, then I can totally throw it out there for everybody. I may not know the answers. There's a pretty good chance I don't, because do you know what? I don't know everything. And that's okay. And that means I go out and I keep reading and I keep learning and I keep watching tutorials and I keep growing my own self as well. And it's okay to ask. Squirrels come in many forms. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. This is an excellent point from Knit Spin Girls. I only use my sock blockers for photographic purposes, especially those really nice, pretty wooden sock blockers. I personally don't think they help your socks to dry very well. I'm a big fan of the wire, like just bent out wire sock blockers. I think that they are much better for drying your socks than anything else. Bobby says here, except a bit of blocking with, oh gosh. Bobby, have you met Freaky? I'm not sure if you guys know each other, but yeah. Somebody needs to describe the relationship we all have with Freaky here in the chat. Oh, Deb. Oh, Deb. Oh, look at that. Yesterday in the Fiberific Fun Zone, if you don't know what that is, you need to go and check it out. It is our Facebook group where all of you can share your makes and keep chatting these conversations and other things over all the time and not wait for me to go live. But yesterday on the Fiberific Fun Zone, somebody, Lisa, looking at you, posted a screenshot. Thank you, Chantel's brain. A screenshot that that said, just hold 3 4-ply yarns and that will make a 12-ply. Guess what? That's not true. That is not true. Unless they have physically run those 3 strands of yarn through a spinning wheel so they're all nice and tightly spun and twisted together, that's not true. And do you know what? They know it upsets me. They know it upsets me. Thank you, Jackie. There is a link to the Fiberific Fun Zone. Even if you just search on Facebook for Fiberific Fun Zone, it will come up. Make sure you answer the questions. If you don't answer your questions, they're very difficult questions along the lines of, do you like yarn? If you don't answer the questions, you won't be admitted to the group and you'll sit there in no entry limbo. Knit Spin Girl says, I need to wash a few weeks worth of socks at a time. No way am I investing in 20 odd pairs of sock blockers. Yeah, I get that. Those I really like. I got them from Amazon. I'll throw a link up into the Fun Zone. It's basically like this triple tier, like it pops out, you know, and it's mesh, so you can lay lots of. It's meant for jumpers, but you can lay lots of things onto it and just hang it up. And I put it under the back patio and gets a nice breeze and stays out of the full sun and everything dries nicely. Yeah, pokey to poke. Yes, very nice. Alison says, I use sock blockers if I'm going to sell or give the socks to somebody, but I usually don't bother for my own. And how often is that? That is just like mechanics' cars usually need work. House painters' houses normally need paint. You know, when we make our own things for ourselves, we're like, yep, finish those socks, pull them on, wear them. No washing, no blocking, nothing. But that's just how it is, right? But if it's for yourself, do you care if your own hand oils and your own skin secretions and what have yous are on your own socks? that are on your feet? Probably not. But if you are gifting it, it's a whole nother story. It's a whole nother story. My hand knit socks just get pegged on the line. And you know what? If you're making yourself like a ton of hand knit socks, then you do it. I don't peg mine just because the last time I pegged mine, the peg snagged a stitch and I ended up having to do a repair. And, you know, you guys know how I feel about that. That sock just laid there not being worn for like 18 months or something. Kim says, if I use sock blockers, the socks are too big for my feet. Well, then buy children's size sock blocker. You can buy smaller sock blockers. You can buy all different sizes. Hang on, here we go. Does anybody use mitten blockers? If so, what do you think of them? I'm going to look, I don't make mittens. I'm in Australia, and where I live in Australia, it's subtropical. So it is winter. Oops, I've got like a white spot. Where is that? Get off me. It's the middle of winter, and I just have like a 3/4 length sleeve on. The heater's not on. I don't even know what the temperature is. It's like, I don't know. My phone's over there out the window, being our internet connection, because the, a business level connection service that I pay for is being a butt this week and keeps disconnecting, like dropping in and out. John's going to be right back. He requires milk and cookies. Fair enough, John. I'm just going to keep scrolling. If I have made one pair of socks, so I haven't fully felt the need to invest in more sock blockers. Fair enough. Fair enough. I've seen core flute cutouts used for blockers. I don't mind the idea, but I'm concerned about the edges. How sharp are they? Are they scratching my wool inside and making it weak if I keep pulling them off and onto the sock blocker? Like, that's my concern. Our Chaos Creator says, I did buy small, but they were still too big. Aww. Did you buy adult, small, or child? Alison says, I am weird as I refuse to put my hand knit or crochet items in the washing machine, even if it's superwash. So as a hand dyer, even if it's superwash, I would not put hand dyed yarn in a washing machine, because hand dyed yarn has been designed in such a way for it to be hand washed. If you are too rigorous with it, you could actually leach out extra color that shouldn't be able to come out in any other way, but because it's just being belted to death in a washing machine. If you've gone to the effort to spend the money on a hand dyed yarn, hand wash it. Wouldn't it be cool if Snyder Spindles could make some affordable sock blockers? Oh, yeah. I think I saw, was it John who popped in something about making some sort of waffle weave sock blocker on a 3D printer? Like, that would be like the bomb diggity. Because this is the thing, like in Australia, I don't know about everywhere else, but in Australia, sock blockers run anywhere from sort of $20 to $40 a set for nice ones, right? I'm not going to spend that. I'm not. I bought one set to support a friend's business, Lumographica, and I use it on occasion. I don't make that many socks, if I'm being honest. I make a lot of single socks and then just mismatch pairs. And yeah, Lumographica laser cut theirs. And other than that, I'm not going to spend like that kind of money, especially considering I'm not happy with the design. I like the ones where the air flows through the sock blocker, not just with a couple of holes in it. That's not enough. I want something that's basically a frame of a sock with all air being able to go through most of the middle. So, yeah. Hey, Gail Smith, welcome to the chat. We're having a, what's the term we're using? Rant. A rant today on people who don't wash or block their finished items, and how I had a description at the beginning. So, but if you're coming in the middle, if you blocking is a process, and it's washing and pushing into shape and weaving in all your ends and finishing it off. If you are not blocking, like some people on the interweb say, I have never blocked a thing in 60 years, then I don't want a gift from you. Thanks very much, because it will have your hand sweat and your oils from your skin. You could be the cleanest person, but unless you're wearing like surgical grade gear the entire time you're processing, it's not clean. So it needs a wash just to get all those natural oils and what have you out. So we're having the discussion. So if you want to jump in and give us your feels on washing and finishing as part of a blocking process. Freaky, I actually prefer pancakes over waffles as well, truth be told. Leanne says, I've given my hubby the challenge to make some sock blockers, not for me, but for a friend. Leanne, he needs to make sure the edges are very smooth, okay? No little bits that could get caught in yarn. Kiwi Crocheter, welcome to the chat. Working and lurking, bring it. I hope you're having an awesome day at work, and I hope everything goes well. Crafty Crochet and Bible with Angela, welcome to the chat. It's good to see you here. Pancakes are the best. Pancakes are the best. I agree. I know it's totally not on thing. Bobby, this is so funny. I certainly hope we are washing an item at least when gifting, if not blocking. Bobby, there are people on Facebook who publicly state that if you have washed it, it's not new anymore and therefore it's secondhand. So they would never give away a secondhand thing. So they are finishing it and gifting it without washing it. And it does things to me. I'm like, everything, this is, don't give me anything. I don't want anything from you ever. If that is how you think, oh my God, that is so, it's like, nope. I try not to be repulsed because it's probably like a regional thing or something I don't understand properly. But in my brain, I'm just like, it needs to be washed at least. But like, why would you not wash it and shape it? Like, it's just the last step to make it look schmick. Sorry, Bobby. Claire says, I still remember when I first found out about the whole blocking versus non-blocking topic. Of course it was on Facebook. Yeah. I now stay well away from those discussions. Look, I try to, because obviously I'm very passionate about it. And even if I see them, I'm like, scroll, Chantel, just keep scrolling. Don't stop. Move to the next topic, because you're just going to like poke an ant's nest with your views. So yeah, because, you know, those of you that have been here since the start, my views are pretty strong on blocking and washing things before you give them to other people. Oh my goodness. Oh, wow. Kim saying you should wash your socks in salty water. Why is that? I'm seriously curious. I don't understand that. Unless you're being a schnurk about the whole salt water and things, but it could also be like the whole antibacterial side of it. So I would love to know. Gail, could be covered. Yes. Like, we don't know. Unlikely, but possible. You know, it's like all the things. They could have sneezed on it. You know, like innocuous, like something that happens, a bit of fluff goes up your nose, you have a big sneeze. You know, their husband could have sneezed on it while they were out of the room and they don't know. It needs a wash. No, the dog could have sneaky laid up and laid their head on it just for a second. It needs a wash, whatever. It needs to be washed. Even if you don't have the time, the space, the effort to do a full proper pin out, which I understand, sort of. Do you have a dining table? Do you have a bed? Like, seriously. Even if it's got to be washed before you wrap that and gift it. Oh, my God. Kim's just poking me. Stop poking. Okay. All right. I mean, I'll go there. If you want me to go there, we're on total rant today. So I can go there, Kim, if you want me to go there. I mean, I'm assuming I'm assuming that maybe they think that it's perfect in the shop. I don't even like trying things on in the shop because I know it hasn't been washed and who else has tried it on. I've got no idea. I do try it on, but I'm like, on, yep, looks good, get it off. And I have these discussions with my daughter. Like, she'll buy a thing and she'll be like, can I just wear it home? And I'm like, no, it's got to be washed first. Who knows what that's been set in? Oh, at least washed. Washing it doesn't make it secondhand, in my opinion. I'm with you, Bobby. Washing a finished item as part of the finishing process does not make it secondhand. Did it go from you, then to another person, then back to you, and then back to the next person? Then it's secondhand. Was it gifted to somebody else and then re-gifted? Then it's secondhand. If it's leaving you, the creator, and did you have it laying on your bed for 6 months using it? That could be secondhand. But if you've made it and then you ship it off all washed and nice, ready for them just to on their bed or pull onto themselves and be snug, it's ready for wear is what it is. Oh my gosh. There is an odd show judging criteria for some shows where they don't want you to use detergent in the water for blocking, but it's rare to come across that now. Look, detergents used to be very, very, very corrosive. They've gotten a lot better over the last 20, 30 years, probably the last 40 years. They used to be very corrosive and they used to really strip the natural oils, especially out of hand spun. And that was sort of more the reasoning why, because it could totally change the feel of the product. But now it's different. We've got so many options that will like so carefully look after your natural fiber. Excuse me. Bob Curran, yesterday I washed and blocked 4 pairs of socks. Go, Bob. Bub. Sorry, Bob. I'm going to have to put you guys on to be right back for just a second. Hey, parcel's not for me, so we can't unbox it, but I definitely heard the courier coming in. I'm just having a quick look here in the chat. Hey, Abby, welcome to the chat, honey. Hey, your parcel just arrived, just so you know. Okay, let me have a look here. I'm just having a quick scroll. If you haven't used it, it is not secondhand. It could be regifted, though. It could still be regifted. My ex would wear clothes straight from the store, or she'd buy thrift and wear without washing because thrift store washes. I don't care if the thrift store bleaches. Yeah, agreed. I'm washing it in my machine before it goes on. And that's how I feel as well. That's how I feel. Absolutely. But if I buy a blanket, I don't normally pre-wash a blanket. If I buy sheets, I pre-wash sheets. I don't normally pre-wash a blanket. Here we go. It keeps particularly for embroidery. It's partly that you should not overhandle your work and keep it clean whilst working on the piece. But I'm not wearing embroidery either. That's right. And look, as a cross stitcher, you're supposed to very carefully not get your your open areas dirty, and you're really supposed to make sure you're wearing your gloves and things like that while you're working on it. I never did, so I would end up with like grayness, and I would wash my hands like religiously before I cross stitched, and it made no difference because hands secrete natural oil, so I'd always have to give it a good proper wash before I actually got it framed. Yep, I washed the thrift store items beforehand. Yeah. Liz B, Yes, I'm with you. Sheets, towels, doona covers, everything gets washed before I use it. I agree. But if somebody is gifting me a handmade jumper or blanket or something, they better have washed them off it first. Like, because as far as I'm concerned, that's secondhand then. If they haven't washed it and it's still full of them, I'm out. Good point. Good point. Okay. How can this not be the same before gifting handmade items? What do you like? As in, yeah. I mean, I suppose if I give somebody sheets or towels or what have you, I leave it in the packaging. I don't wash it, but it's a commercial item that has been washed before it was packaged. Now, we don't always agree with what they've washed it in, and it could be the same when somebody gifts it to you. But you've got to make the effort. You've got to make sure that when they open it out, it's exactly how you want it to be seen. And the only way you can guarantee that is by washing it and blocking it and finishing the thing before packaging. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. I would wash my cross-stitch. People lick their floss. Oh, for sure. For sure. I react to so many chemicals. I have to wash all that stuff off first. Absolutely. And I think that you need to wash your handmade. You need to wash everything. It's part of the manufacturing or fabrication process. And people don't like it when I call knitters and crocheters fabricators, because it's exactly what we're doing. We're creating fabric. We create fabric. And we create our fabric in certain shapes and certain colors, and it's however we want it. But we've created the fabric. We are fabricators. And part of fabricating is getting it washed and finished and shaped and getting it all done and ready. Sorry. I am totally, yeah. The bear was severely poked yesterday between that and the whole ply thing. Fabric creators. That's an interesting take, John. So I have a question for you in the chat. If you were gifted a handmade item that smelled, even just a little, of people, would you want to try that on and show them how nice it is? Like, oh, wow, thank you so much. This is awesome. Or would you hold it thinking this needs washing before I try this thing on? Going, thanks so much for this. This looks great. And you're still polite and you're still kind, but you're not putting it on your person. Which way would you go? Would you pull it on and be like the ever grateful? Like, because these are the same people who get upset when people won't gush over their finished items and talk about how they're not knit worthy or they're not crochet worthy. Now, there are legit people in the world who are not knit and not crochet worthy, and I know a few of them, right? Those people exist. But there's a difference between not liking handmade things versus not wanting something that smelled like people. I can't think of a better way to describe that. There's probably a way to describe it. I hug my friends. I'd put the thing on. Okay. All right, John. See, I'm not a huggy person, so maybe this could come down to that as well. Lindsay says if it smells of people. I'd have to handle with hands to be sure I touch it, to wash it, to use it later. Yeah. Commercially packaged cloth, sheets, towels, etc., made with cotton or linen are better washed after taking out of the package. It softens the fabric up and feels better. That is true. And it's also because they're quite often starched in the packaging so they don't get crunchy. And some of the less expensive fabrics are actually treated in like a formaldehyde mix, which is not legal in Australia, but still happens from overseas. As long as it doesn't feel grimy, I think most basic people sense can be overcome for a brief time at least. Yeah. I've received a gift that I opened it and went, and it was very smelly. It was very smelly. During COVID, I sent gifts that I pre-washed. I still recommend the person gifted the item would wash it again. Absolutely. And this whole COVID thing is a whole nother issue for sure. I have fortunately not been put into that position. Nice. Can't get the smell out of the clothing. Can't you get the smell out of the clothing? Yeah, it came out. It washed out. One wash, gone. So I suppose maybe I'm being extra fussy, and that's okay. That's all right. I'm allowed to be extra fussy. But I still think it needs to be washed before you gift it. And I don't think that makes it secondhand. Oh, no. I've undone the tea thing to the point where it undid the hoary bit. There we go. Okay. Man, I am so glad I went with this tea today. So if you weren't here at the beginning of the chat, I've got tea Fatalia mint sliced tea, and like it's got milk in it and everything. And I put milk in my tea thermos for the first time. I've never done that. I normally just stick with the just the herbal teas in the tea thermos. It's going to be a pain to wash later. I know this. Am I the only one spraying not yet worn items with Lysol product before even washing? I'm going to be honest. I don't know what Lysol is. I've seen it mentioned a few times. I don't know what Lysol is. But no, I don't. If I'm going to wash it, I'll just wash it. There's a hand knit jumper coming from my daughter in the post. Not sure if it was washed before sending. I'll give it a rinse when it arrives. Yeah. If I were to give someone something, I would say to the person, I've already washed this, but I won't be offended if you want to wash it again before trying on. I like that, Sally, because it gives that person the okay that it's like, oh my gosh, look at this. This looks so nice. I'm just going to give it a wash. But like for me, it's not about, like, if someone's gifted me something and they've washed it, I'm okay to try it on. I don't mind trying it on then. But if I can smell that it is most definitely not been washed, you know the smell, it is most definitely not been washed. Like my queen smells like this right now and I don't like it. I don't even like working on it when it smells like this. I'm tempted to wash part of my queen now so that I can keep working on it. But I'm not going to. I'm just tempted. Because it's hot here and I get sweaty, and so my perspiration is in my project and I don't like the smell. Okay. I've had so much tea stains in my tea thermos, I had to use oven cleaner to clean it out. Oh gosh. Freaky says Lysol is like a spray version of Jarbex. It kills most germs. I don't know what Jarbex is either, but it's a disinfectant spray. Okay. All right, cool. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. I try it on, give compliments, and take it off and quietly wash it later. Yeah. I'm probably extra picky about that part of it. But are we all agreed? Because I need everyone to agree with me, okay? And then I'll feel better. Are we all agreed that if you hand make an item and you don't wash it or block it, it is not complete? Whether you're gifting it or not, whether if you don't wash it and you don't block it, it's not complete yet. It's not done. You're not done. I make hand-sewn garments. I wash the fabric before cutting out and then wash again before wearing it after it's made. It makes all the sewing sit nicer if it's a handmade garment, because then you can iron it and steam it and make it all good and crispy. Like I don't hand wash. I don't wash handbags, but if it's going to be something, you know, on the body. So yeah, like a Dettol spray, it sounds like, yeah. Lots of yeses coming through. Bob, I've used this to clean out my thermos before. I probably wouldn't use oven cleaner. I can't use oven cleaner. We don't have any. I have to clean my oven out with the old hard ways because the oven cleaner makes me really sick. Gabby Rodriguez, I love this idea. I love it a lot. Include a pretty card with handwritten instructions on how to wash the items. I love that. I love that. Freaky's still on the fence, hoping nobody pushes him off. Good job, Freaky. We're going to just shove you right over, like right over the fence. Oh, that bit's nice and hot. Hello. If you want your own cute Fiberific mug like this one, with the Hedge of Ninja in all the different shapes and sizes, jump over to Redbubble and you can get your own. Redbubble, fiberific.redbubble.com, and you can get your own. And the thing I love about Redbubble is that, say you've got, like, you want to get this cup, but you like another cup from another person. As you add more of the same item into your cart, it automatically gives you discounts. I mean, so you could buy like 3 different Fiberific cups. There's 3. You could buy all 3. And as long as they're the same shape, you'll get a discount on them. Like, how cool is that? That's how I bought so many, because it was just like discount. So yeah, I highly recommend these cups. I would throw them through the dishwasher. I don't know if the dishwasher's safe or not, but they go in the dishwasher and I've had no fading. I've been using it for a while now. Like, has it been 12 months? Maybe. No fading. I tried making a stitch marker with that face and the face vanished on me. Which face? Mine go in all the time. Yeah, they do. At least 12 months, Jackie. It's got to be at least 12 months, right? Because I think I've had the new camera for a while, and I've got a cup that's got the face cam on it from when we used to have to, like, every 30 minutes actually hit the camera because it would go to sleep. The advantage of having the right gear for your live streams means it just makes your live stream easier. You can totally run a live stream with, like, dodgy stuff, but if you want it to be easier, there's gear you can buy. Bob Wilson is in the house. I just saw her name pop up and now it's disappeared. Hang on a second. There it is. Hi, Bob Wilson. Did your alarm go off? Bob Wilson, we are talking, or aka Claire, I feel weird calling you Bob Wilson. Claire, we're talking about blocking and how blocking does not make a project secondhand, and how you should block everything before you gift it. Please don't tell me that you don't wash and shape things before you give them away. I'll cry. I will cry. Actual tears. Hey, I want to try something. I tried setting something up earlier and I don't know if it's going to work. Okay, are we ready? This could be very bad, but I'm just going to try a thing because I set up. The camera is dodge. I set up another camera angle, but just with a webcam, so it's a bit dodge. All right. I just thought it might be nice for me to, like, be able to go swivel, and when the dog's here, then he's not here. He's at the vet with Abby. What's oh, that's my tea thermos. There we go. Yeah, so I'll put it back. Well, you know, I'm like, do I really need to buy another proper camera? And I'm like, oh, I don't need to, but I really want to. Here we go. I have a personal rule. I only give my handmade blankets to my cousins who I know for a fact can look after wool. They love them. They appreciate them. And I'll make them anything they ask for. I love people like that. Total craft-worthy recipients. Others don't get good blankets. They get photo frames. I'm in. Claire says, my alarm did go off, but I was in the garden with Poppy the bunny. Yes to blocking. Thank you, Claire. Thank you. If not going to wash your queen while in progress, what about a lavender spray or some kind of other spray which neutralizes? Well, I definitely won't use lavender spray, Bobby. You are new here, so I will let you in on a little secret that everybody else knows. I'm really badly allergic to lavender. And half the other scents on the planet. So it's like, but there are things that I could try. You're right. I could totally find something to try and neutralize the smell a little bit. And I will give that some thought, but it won't be lavender. But I will definitely give it some thought. Yes, you need another because that one is blurry. Yeah. That's just look. What it is that's a webcam that A, could have fingerprints all over it and it's too far away for me to check. And B, it's a webcam that's too far away. Webcams need to be right close. They don't like being too far away. So, but yeah, I definitely am I'm thinking about it, all right? Because I want to make this fun and interactive and, you know, be able to swing around and spindle, you know, like stuff. Keep it fun for me too. You guys know I'm a nerd. I'm just a nerd who wants to play with the things. I guess the advantage of the Queen is that I think you could certainly wash it midway through. Yeah, because as long as you finish the row, every single row is tied off. I'm a bit hesitant because it could change how the colors look and sit. And if that's going to happen, I'd rather it happen all at once in one wash than be different through sections. I like your idea of finding something to spray on it that I can deal with. And John says Chantel is like my ex, allergic to air. Pretty much allergic to the world. Not so much air, but pretty well everything else. Oh my God, totally fangirling. My comment was on the screen. And it is again. Claire, we've upgraded since you were here last. There's been some upgrades. Because as I said before, I can't help myself. I'm a nerd. I find new things for live streaming with. And I'm like, I want to give that a try. That looks awesome. I totes want to play with that. I want to give that a try. So yeah. Here we go. Yes, cousins that prove craft-worthy hair knits I have knitted. Their kids are on the third and fourth child so far. They love them. They pass them on to the others so they can enjoy them. That is awesome. All the rows are tied off, but the ends would still fray. I agree, John. Or even just get like tangled together. It would be messy. And it could change the tension and the shape and the size. You are 100% right. Ooh, upgrades. Yeah. Bring on the upgrades. Do you know one thing I've realized is my chair's low? Like, I was like, gosh, my leg's getting a bit sore here. Why is it sore? And it's because I'm like that little bit too low, like, and my knee's getting pushed down a little. So I'm like, oh man. We're so spoiled in Chantel's lives. We get all the things. I try so hard to make it fun for you and fun for me because we sit here for ages. I did bring craft. Like I did say that before, didn't I? I brought craft. I'll show you where I'm up to. I'll move some things. There we go. Alrighty, I'll just move the keyboard out of the way. This is the Manic Monday. I've just realized that is doing some things I just want to stop it from doing. So hang on a second. My computer's taking a little second. Hopefully we don't crash. I just need to turn off the autofocus. Configure the video. There we go. Camera control. Focus off. And then we want to make it focus a bit better. There we go. Okay. Apply. Okay. Hang on. Okay. Alrighty. All right, I'm finished. Okay. This is Manic Monday, and I'm using like a legit bag of scraps, right? Like all the scraps. So I've only got about 4 more rows to go, but look, there's about 1 million ends. I have been working over them, so some of them I just need to check and trim because in the pattern it says to work over them, but you guys know how I feel about working over ends. I'm always nervous. So yeah, so we're nearly done. It's nearly done. And this is all my hand-dyed yarns, and it's all this little scrappy bits. And I think it's going to look fantastic when it's all done and on. I'm just going to go back to here and pull it on. And I think, will it do a second run? It will. So, you know, that looks great, Chantel, with all the ends dangling. It's a bit warm. So, yeah. And this is the thing, I just tried that on. If I was to gift that to somebody now, it's like, that's been on my neck. So, yeah. I had a couch given to me by a friend that smelled of dog. I knew and I loved the dog. I sprayed Febreze on it and it just smelled like flowery dog. Oh, gosh. Claire. Oh, hang on. I'll go back to the camera. Abby drew a picture and gave it to my nail lady and said, can you do this? And the nail lady said yes. I had no idea what was being done to me, but that's what I had. And they're just gorgeous. I love them. I love them. John says, my couch smelled musty and strange, so I Febrezed the hell about it. And I could still smell it. Then I realized it was spray paint I'd used on one of my laptops. The paint still smells. Oh, no. Working over ends, depending on the stitch, can look messy too. I agree, 100%. Oh, Lisby, you are always looking after me, aren't you? We should pop in the Patreon link so we can buy Chantel a cup of coffee to keep the cool toys for the lives coming our way. That is totally true. It is the Patreons of Fiberific that keep us in upgraded gear. When the laptop died, it was the Patreon money that made it so I could just go out and buy a new laptop without freaking out. It was the Patreon money that meant that we could get better audio. And over the years, a new camera. You're totally right, Lisby. The Patreon members who have supported the Fiberific channel for it's years now, it feels like years, have made it so that we can continuously make this live stream better. If you go back, I'll have to find a link and throw it into the fun zone to one of the first Fiberific live craft and chats. It did not look like this at all. They weren't terrible for what they were, but they did not look like this. And now we have a clearer image. We have multi-cameras. We've got quality audio. We've got good lighting. And it just makes a huge, huge difference to me here, to make it so that I can just make these decisions. I go, right, I'm not happy with how this mic is working. It's aging. It's breaking. Oh my gosh, when the webcam died during a live dye session and I had to just go out and make a decision on a new webcam, and I was able to get this one, which is so much better. It was such an upgrade because it's a 4K webcam. If that webcam had been over here, it would have been perfectly fine. But the webcam that's there it's an old, not good webcam. I just wanted to see if I liked the angle. So if we can not look at the quality of the video, but look at the angle and the position, let me know. I'll just make sure that my clothes are all good. Let me know if you think a camera over there would be good so that we could do more of this and where I could talk with you more and have more of a visible thing where if I'm spindling, you can see things a bit better from there. Let me know in the chat. And if you think that that would be a helpful thing, maybe jump in over and help out on Patreon as well so that we can get the second camera quicker. So back over here. Let me have a look. Flowery dog. Let me have a look. There's the Patreon link. Thank you so much, Jackie, for popping the link in there. Freaky says, buying your yarn does help, does it not? Yes, it does. Buying from the Fiberific web store definitely helps as well. But the difference is a Fiberific web store also has to run the rest of Fiberific. The Patreon money is just used for the live stream. So I make sure that I don't spend it on anything else. I don't spend it on stock. I save it up and I use it for when we have lighting upgrades or if we want an extra camera or extra cables. I'm always buying cables, hubs and things like that to make sure that everything can be all plugged in properly. Lauren says, I'm a proud Patreon supporter. Thank you, Lauren. Now, Patreon supporters that are in the chat and other people that would consider being in Patreon, something I've been tossing up whether to do or not, and I wanted to message you all and ask, but if some of you are here, one thing I haven't stated on Patreon is, and so therefore I haven't done it, is that I would love to be able to publicly thank you by your name in the live streams and maybe put up a screen at the end of the live stream and thank you to the Patreon supporters. Now, I haven't put that over on Patreon yet, but if I was to do that, would you be okay with that? Or would you prefer your name not to appear as, you know, your name being a public supporter, which I totally get. It's personal information. So I would love to know if that would be okay, because I want to make sure that you know I appreciate what you do, because I do. Absolutely. I'm just going to jump back in. I'm like getting emotional. So I'm going to jump back into the chat. Yes, it's a nice angle. That angle makes me want to lay on that couch. The couch is actually quite comfy, I have to say. When I got locked into the shed when the door busted, I sat back on the couch. I've got a big screen here. And I put my feet up and I'm like, yeah, whenever the locksmith gets here is fine. And sat here and crocheted and watched Netflix. Bob Wilson says, yes, I love the second angle. Freaky says, if your clothes weren't good, you wouldn't be. I just want to make sure they weren't bunched up where you could see them all bunched up. That's all. Oh, Sally's thrown in a link for one of the first live streams. I'll have to have a look at that later. Freaky says, sweet, I may have chipped in without being a Patreon member. Absolutely, absolutely. Now, there's another option that I've been seeing some of my fellow live streamers use is something called Buy a Coffee. And I want to look into it a bit more. And what it means, it's just a straight up payment. It's a one-off payment, and you can just do it whenever you feel like it. They don't take a big commission like Super Chat does from YouTube, and it means that they don't have to sign up to a regular deposit. So if that's something you guys would like me to set up as an alternative as well, then let me know. I'm more than happy to go through that as well. Game Widow says, I'm a Patreon, so I can skip the ads guilt-free. Hello. I reckon that's one of my favorite perks, is just like, because if you're new to YouTube or you don't understand how YouTube really works, the ads that run at the beginning of a video, and sometimes in the middle, depending on the creator, or depending on YouTube's mood. Sorry, guys. If you skip that ad, the creator is therefore not paid, just so you know. So, and even if they are paid, it's not a lot. Lauren says that you'd be okay using the name. You can use Fool for my real name. Sally says it's fine. Lauren says it's fine. Game Widow's not fussed either way. Because what it would do, it would appear as whatever you've signed up to Patreon as. Great angle for the camera. Also, thanks, Patreons, you're legends. I agree 100%. Kathy says it's okay with her. I like that camera angle. And yes, I'm a proud Patreon supporter as well. Thank you. Stephanie from Crochet Clock does it. I guess I need to sign up to Patreon. Yeah, look, Patreon's one of those really cool things. No, I know about Ko-Fi. This one is actually just called Buy a Coffee. But I will have a look into setting that up as well. I'll work out which one works out the best and go with that. But I've got a friend who uses the Buy a Coffee, and I've bought him a coffee during his live streams, and it was really simple and quick and easy, and they didn't want any personal information, and you could write a comment on it if you wanted, and it was just nice. I liked that. I won't say I like that till you can actually do a spin demo. Might need to move the camera a smidge. Never know. Oh, yeah. Look, that's just a rough. The webcam is actually sitting on a boom arm that's holding my mobile phone out the window, which is what's giving us this string because the internet's being a dog. So we're actually using my mobile phone 5G data for our live stream today. Thank you, mobile phone, for not dying. If I was to go out and buy a new camera, I would make sure I got good gear to set it up properly so that we could maneuver it around for better options as well. But I've still got to decide, because, like, I'm not kidding. If I go out and buy another camera, it's going to be another one of these Sony A6400s, which I love to pieces. It is a fantastic camera, but it is not cheap. And because I would have two cameras, I would need another piece of equipment, which would mean we could run the two cameras. So it's not a simple decision. It's not a simple decision. I wish it was. I wish it was just a run out and pshoo. Thank you, Sony, for this amazing thing. Thank you, Black Magic, for this amazing thing. But unfortunately, that's not how the real world works. Little YouTubers don't get given things. So we have to save up and we buy them and then we love them to pieces. So I'm making a wish list on Amazon. So they notify me when there's sales and things on. And so I'm adding in an A10 mini, which will make it so that we can switch between the cool cameras, the second camera, the lens for it, and some of the gear that I use to mount on the table. That stuff's pretty cheap. So yeah, it's cheap. It's like $20. It's dirt cheap. Allison is okay either way. Steph puts up the names at the beginning of her stream. What I might do is before I go and make graphic or anything like that, I will go in and add in a page and a little bit of a discussion point into Patreon and add that as part of the tiers, just so that it can be transparent. So anyone new signing up or anyone who's not in this live stream hasn't seen this conversation, I won't take this as the official thumbs up. I just wanted to get an idea. But so let me have a look. Freaky Geek says, yes, it is always nice to know who helps. One of the things that Patreon used to be able to do, which was you used to see the Patreon P next to someone's name. And then YouTube came and went, we don't like that. No. We're going to have our own membership thing, and made it so they couldn't have it, which is frustrating because that was a cool thing. I could see at a glance who was Patreon and who wasn't. Sally says, I've just noticed that you're almost at 5K. Yeah, we're at 30 more people, or like 27 more people, and we're at 5K. It is, I'm like sitting on the edge of my seat. But what's really frustrating is it's been teetering on this 49.70, whatever it is, for like a month. And it goes up a little and then down a little and then up a little and then down a little. But it just keeps sitting around this 49.70. It does that to me every now and again. Can we buy things off your wish list? I don't know. I'd have to have a look. I honestly don't know. So everybody tell your friends, come and join the fun and subscribe so we can get it to 5K. Oh, Sally, that would be so cool. Thank you. We're definitely having a die party when we hit that 5K. And I thought we were going to hit it like back near Christmas, and it didn't happen. And then, but yeah, we're definitely going to have some sort of 5K die party, and then we'll make it so that anyone who wants to buy the yarn can, and things like that. We'll do that. Yeah, 5K would be nice. Freaky says that you should be able to. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know enough about that side of it at all. I should probably learn. I should probably be able to answer that question. I just throw things into my wish list to remind me that I want to get them eventually and keep an eye on them when they go on sale. Excuse me. My throat is getting raspy. I shouldn't walk around the house singing before a live stream and use up all my precious throat energy. Excuse me. Okay. Where are we at? It's 11:38, you guys, and I've still done no craft, and I've just spilt tea all over my table. What is it about a nice hot drink on a sore throat? It just feels so good, honestly, so good. Okay. All right, we've had some like insane conversations today, like my ranty rant at the start about about blocking, and I'm sorry if you don't agree, absolutely, but yeah. So that's my ranty rant on blocking. Then we've had this great discussion on gifting and the difference between washing before you gift and not gift, which is a sideline issue to the blocking, but not blocking. I'm just, there we go. Okay, Jackie's written here, I think you can make your wish list public or share a link to friends so they know what you want for Christmas. Okay, cool. All right. I don't know if I'd do that, guys. Like, yeah. I'd put it in the wish list more for me than to be all like, hey, can you do a thing? Because you already do a thing. Lindsay says, is that what the wish list is for? I just put everything in my save for later cart. Yeah. I mean, there's that too. I've got stuff in my save for later card as well. They're the things that I nearly bought that I was like, no. I won't buy them yet. No. Yeah, I see creators on TikTok with links to Amazon wishlists all the time. Yeah. Yep. Okay. All right. Are you going to Knit Fest at Mulaney? Not as a stall holder. I'm not 100%. Probably not. Like, the reality is probably not. I'm trying to catch up on some stuff here. I feel like I've really let the ball go on the Mystery Lace Club. We've got one that went out this week, and I've got a couple more I want to get out. And I would feel guilty going out and having too much fun, knowing that this works at home needs to be done. And I know that's dumb. I know that's a dumb way to think. I really do. But I couldn't enjoy it knowing that I need to do some things. So, yeah. No crafting. You've been following me around the house while doing very little but boring house jobs. I was having a chat with a friend about the boring house jobs this morning, and about how it just feels like you work all week, and this is probably the same for every single person on the planet, right? You work all week, and then on the weekend, you're cleaning the house, you're doing the washing, you're mowing the lawn, you're getting all that stuff done. Then you sit down and you're like, what can we do for the rest of the weekend? Because it's 3:00 on Sunday afternoon. So, yeah. John, I just grabbed my hook 2 minutes ago. Was I making it a bit difficult with all my ranting? I think it'd be nice if you sign up for this coffee thing. I can't remember what it's called. There's a couple. There's actually some pretty good options out there. And I'm going to have a little look in. I'll only sign up for one because I've already got Patreon. And I don't want to get rid of Patreon. I like Patreon. I like the business behind Patreon, and I like what they're trying to do, and I think it's amazing. And how it all started. Like, do you guys know the story of how Patreon started? Let me know in the chat if you want me to give you like the TLDR of how Patreon started. Hi, Holly. Welcome to the chat. She was glad I was able to make it at least for the last part. You missed the rant. That's fine. You can watch the replay. Yeah, I definitely did really have a discussion on blocking. Oh, go Claire. After this chat, I'll be filming a beginner's course to crochet. Got excited to get back behind the camera after 9 months. Yes, that is awesome, Claire. That is so awesome. I want to know how Patreon started. Please share. I think it was to support artists originally. Okay. So, TLDR, Patreon is run by, or owned and run by, it started with one man and his friend. And his name is Jack Conti. And he is one of the two main parts of a band called Pomplamoose, which I love. And you guys need to go and check them out. They are fantastic. Okay. So, Pomplamoose would play music on YouTube. Music is copyrighted a lot of the time. And so they weren't always able to get the money from their YouTube stuff, but it built them a following, which meant that when they toured, they had more people coming to the tours, now making more and more money. But they realized that putting their videos out there was really good for their international people and people they were never going to get to see in their standard touring process. So they needed to work out a way that they could afford to make better quality videos and more videos for YouTube and still get a payday. And so what they did was they decided there's got to be a way to do this. And Jack's mate, who was a coding like total nutter, who I don't know his name, which I feel terrible about, he coded this whole thing out, and they created the entry level of Patreon, which meant that people could directly pay their creators. Like, do you think of like old timey patrons of the arts, where artists had a patron who paid their rent, who, made it so they could eat and things like that, so they could focus on their art without having to do all the mundane. Well, that's how Patreon came about, was so that artists and musicians, mostly musicians, could afford to keep creating videos and content for their community, even though they weren't being monetized by YouTube and copyright issues. Because seriously, how many bands do we know that drop in a cover? The second it's a cover, they can't they can't do anything anymore. So that's how it all started. And that's why I love it so much, is because it was started by creatives. It was started by musicians. That's very smart musicians, but started by people who just know what it's like for creators to need to pay the rent and to keep the lights on, but also want to create. So it helps it so that their supporters can directly fund them. And Patreon take hardly anything as their cut. Like, the reality is it's hardly anything at all. And it makes it so, you know, you guys cover our internet bill every single month. Like, the Fiberific internet bill is covered by Patreon every single month. And that just makes a huge difference. $1 a month, $2 a month, the coffee a month, whatever, makes an enormous difference. Carly says, I'm bummed I missed the rant. I mean, I'm not going to delete it, so it'll be there. I thought Patreon started because people PO'd about YouTube demonetization. No. Patreon's been around longer than that, but it had a big, like, when that happened. But Patreon's been around for a long time. Where we go? Lisby says, I've tried again. It won't let me log into Patreon. That will be this afternoon's job. Oh, my goodness. It's the artist in residence model. Absolutely. It's like the patrons of an artist. Ruth Young, thank you so much for becoming a Patreon. I thought Patreon was started by YouTube making rules harder to keep having fun. No. It was created by Jack Conti and his team. They're just fantastic. It's 2 blokes to start with, just 2. And they originally were just for their band, and then they realized, no, we could make this broader and let everybody in. So that's what they did. You know, that first thing I'm going to crochet is, oh no, get that off my screen. Oh, that's bad. Goodness me. Patreon always makes me think of Phantom of the Opera. Yes, it does, doesn't it? Oh my gosh. Yeah, Claire, that's it. I'm going to read all your messages before I put them up on the screen now, like I do with Freaky and John, because you guys are troublemakers. Troublemakers get everything checked. See, look, Leanne can have her little emoji piles, and Sally can toss up a lol, but I've got to double check Freaky's lol. Yes, he said lol. That's it. You're in the moderation line with Freaky now. It's because you baby sharked me. You may as well have rickrolled me. Now, my next question, because we're trying to make the streams fun. You guys are here. It's 2 hours in nearly. You guys are the stalwarts. You are the foundation of Fiberific live chats. If I was to play music quietly in the background, if I could get my hands on some don't worry about the copyright kind of thing, because I've got like legit stuff I can use. Would that be okay or annoying, or just here and there, like just pop a little bit up? So yeah, one of us. Yes, let's get this party started. Oh dear. Welcome to the club. There's 3 of you in the club now. There was only 2. Now there's 3. Do you guys remember back in the day, a very long time ago, when it was just Freaky who was the naughty person in the chat with, you know, Kim? Though you was extra cool, hang on a second, though long before I started joining the chats. I'm not sure. Well, I mean, yeah, you're right. Kim, I do have to watch her stuff too. You're right. There is 4. Sorry, I miscounted. You're right. There's 4. Yeah. Lindsay says you could give the music a go, and if it's distracting, we'd tell you. Okay, cool. I don't mean to like have it on constantly, just like every now and again, like especially if I'm like having a drink of water or something like that. I want to kick things up a little bit more for interactivity, and there's some options for that. And sometimes it's a bit of fun just having like a little, like, you know, a couple of bars of music play when something good happens. Bob Wilson has known you for long before I did. I don't know about that. I mean, I watched Bob Wilson for a long time before we ever chatted. So I don't know. I can't. I'm going to have a look now. I remember the first time I was introduced to Claire and I was just like, deer in the lights, like. But yeah, no, it was a bit weird. I don't even know how we started chatting. I'll have to look into it. I'll have to have a look. Like thinking music, your chat runs pretty great, but I don't think it would bother me if it's in the background. Yeah, it wouldn't be like, you know, anything like that. It'd just be something very quiet in the background. Probably more to distract me from the noises outside because I'm like, shiny thing. I can't help myself. I've been trying not to do it consciously, but especially like at the moment when I'm here by myself and there's no dog because the dog is with Abby at the vet. There's nothing wrong with the dog. It's just Abby's working at the vet and they all take their pets, so Abby wanted to take her pet. So it's like pet's day at work. And so I'm like extra sensitive of like noises that are happening around my shed. So I think if I had a bit of music, that would be better. But if you had music playing, well, the gates are different. The gates are very loud and I would hear that over the music for sure. Definitely. I know we haven't had a unboxing for a little while because basically it comes in and I just unbox it and price it and get it on the shelves and not update the website. But I should have a new box coming in next week. And if it comes in time for live stream, we'll open it up together. I think that might be a nice thing to do. So just having a little look here. So yeah, all right. So if we can get something for this camera angle that's not blurry and hideous, then you know what we could do? I mean, what we could do to trial it out. Oh, no, I can't. Sorry, I was just thinking maybe I could pull out the old camera that we used to have here. I mean, it turns off every 30 minutes. So I'd need a stick or something to poke it for whenever I want to use it. But the other problem is I still need to buy the connector, the 8M mini to connect it all together. So are you guys liking that your names pop up on the screen? Like, are you enjoying that side of things? Because the other option with this exact software is that I can actually simulcast stream to Facebook as well, to the Fiberific Facebook page. It's one of those sort of softwares that you can do a lot with, and I'm very much just using it very basically. So having that, have you listed the sample selections for spinners yet? I have not. I meant to do it yesterday afternoon and then I did some training instead. So I'll try and get that done this afternoon. So this week I have worked very hard to get Mystery Lace Club out, and it went out late yesterday afternoon. And then I did training for an hour and then went and picked Abby up, and then I made dinner. Because that's what I do. With that camera angle, you could have live guests. Technically, yes. There's a problem with that, and I would need to set up like, you guys know how like I've got this one where I've got like this image and that and this image here, right? Oh, look at my nails, aren't they pretty? This image here, I would need to set that up into this other software to be able to do a split screen, because I'm running two different softwares. I'm running OBS and StreamYard. Sorry, OBS is on this screen, StreamYard's on that screen, so I don't get confused. Yeah, need a cryptocurrency ticker crawling across the top. Bob Wilson loves the name pops up. I'm going to talk to you about this software, Claire. I'll give you a call because I think you would like it a lot. Holly says, I like the pop-up comments. Yep. You need a cryptocurrency crawling across the top. I don't like cryptocurrency. And I answered all of Kathy's questions. I did this morning. Yes, I think I did. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. I think I answered all your questions. Leanne says, I do like the comment pops up. It kind of catches your eye to it. I like that about it as well. One of the things is that this ticker that we have across the bottom here, the pop-ups cover that, and I can't stop that from happening. So it would be a case of I can create an additional ticker. Let me just have a look here. There is a thing somewhere. I can bring things up like this and actually just get rid of the Fiberific ticker off the other software and just have this pop up on occasion, because if I have that there and then I go here and pick up this one here, it automatically drops it out. So it just doesn't roll as such. So we're learning our things, because look, I've still got the Snyder one here. If you want a Snyder spindle, you go to there, or you can buy Fiberific gear, and then it automatically drops it to there. Pop-ups are no good. What? Pop-ups are good. No crypto though. Yeah, I'm with you. I like the pop-ups. I'm not into crypto. Can you move the crawl to the top? I probably could. But that would distract me. I don't know if I'd like it up there. I mean, I could trial it and see how it goes. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? This little crawl thing that we've got, hang on a second. It just brings that one back up. Let's just hide that. Okay, so this one here that we've got, this, Yarn Ninja Totes, that we've got across the bottom here. If we move that to up here, would that be distracting? I mean, it's probably no more distracting than having it at the bottom. If it moves from the bottom, it might go to a jog. Everyone knows crawls belong at the bottom of the screen. See, Jen? That's the thing. I like crawls at the bottom of the screen. I don't know. So, like, you guys are looking at it right now. Does having Jen's comment sit over the top of the crawl annoy you? Or did you not even notice until I brought it up? Because that could be a thing too. I could be making a mountain out of a molehill. Never done that before. Blocking plies. Goodness me. Yes. So, well, everybody. But then the comments cover it. Yeah. To be honest, I had not even noticed the crawl until you mentioned it. Yep. But then the comments wouldn't cover it. That is also true. Leave it at the bottom and the pop-ups cover. Leave it at the bottom and the pop-ups cover it. I mean, yeah. And I don't tend to leave the pop-ups up, so they can move it. Holly says it doesn't bother her. John says, I didn't notice the crawl because I've seen it 11 billion times. That's the thing. Claire suggested trialing it at the top. Lindsay says, I don't read the crawl because I know where to find your stuff, so I'm no help. I mean, like the reality is there's probably options within the software for me to do some more stuff. Like, let me just look here. I don't have anything there. But yeah, there's some options for me to add in an overlay. So I could literally have something just slide in the side here and then slide and go back out again, or more just pop into the side and then pop back out again, and just every now and again just hit the button. I mean, that could totally be a thing. And the links put them, that's right, and the mods put the links in the chats anyway. Absolutely. Well, I mean, I think what I might do for next week is I might actually get rid of the crawl off the bottom and utilize these banners a bit more that are here, because they come and go. So someone's name comes up and then that one comes up. But if I get rid of it, then that pops back in again. in saying that you can't do these if I've got the actual name things up. So if we've got guests, we can't do it. But yeah, we got to think, what would Kim say? Oh, do you know what? Kim does jump into my head a lot as that voice. And the links the mods put in the chat. Yeah, absolutely. The pop-up banner is much better. Yeah. All right. What I'll do is over the week, I will set up something without the crawl in it. I actually think that will make a lot of things easier. That's been something I've been struggling with, the change, like merging these two softwares together, is the crawl. So if I got rid of it, Kim says a lot of smart things. Kim does say a lot of smart things. She's a very smart lady. There we go. There's that pop-up. So I'll just drop that out. And I can just add anything I want into, like I could just create a banner right now that says Freaky is and just, you know, add the banner. There we go. And there's an option actually that says scroll across the bottom ticker. Scroll this. Let's see what that does. Scroll, add the banner, and then show. Oh man. Okay, hang on a second. I'd like to edit that one. Scroll and save, hide, show. Look at that. We get to have everything. I mean, it moves a bit quick. You got to read fast. You got to read fast. There's no way to control the speed. There you go. I learned a thing. And when I was going in to be cheeky about Freaky, then I could just do that. And then when I want to throw up what someone says, problem solved, it goes above the scrolly thing. Yes, it solves the problem. Freaky says, I was expecting to be in trouble. No. Hello, Rowan's Impressions. We are literally just winding up. We were just messing around trying to fix some things. That's so much better. It definitely works. It definitely works. And then when I go to this other camera angle, you know, the possible future angle, it's right there as well. I don't have to mess around adding it in. This is going to make my life easy. You guys are awesome. Not that camera angle is any good. Wabadu. That's it. Wabadu. Okay. Oh my goodness. You guys are fantastic. And I appreciate all of you helping me and like sticking around, honestly, sticking around while I mess with this software at the end of our stream to play. It has got so many features, honestly. If you want a live stream, you need to check out StreamYard. I got to find out if I've got an affiliate for StreamYard, I think, because I think everybody needs to use this stuff. This will not interfere with spinning. Yes. That speed has to be adjustable. I couldn't see anything anywhere, but I mean, I'm going to go and have a look because it is a bit fast, isn't it? No, we don't want to change anything there. Let me go into the banners. I'm going to have a little look at the ticker and just edit. It's either scroll or not scroll. They are the options. Yeah. I don't know. We'll have to. I'm going to have a dig in and find out, because imagine if there's like a lot of information in there. It'd be like, so yeah. Hang on. I'm in the example banners. Turns out that I could totally make my own folder of banners. Okay, let's have a look here. We're just playing now. We're just playing. Now you got me thinking of the Blue song. Comes from a game we play in Lily's Garden. Yeah, wabadu. When something good happens. But it just slowed a bit just when you did what you did. It could have been because I was trying to make it do too much and it was like going juddery. I don't know. Anyway, guys, I want to say a huge thank you to all of you for being here. To those of you watching the replay, if you've watched this far, and for hanging out in the live chats with me and making it fun. So next week, I would love to say we're doing a die stream, but we're not going to do a die stream till we hit 5K. So, you know, we may hit 5K, we may not. So if you know of anybody who you think might enjoy what we do here, then make sure you pop it in. Make sure you sort of pop in to the chat. Pop in and let them know to subscribe is what I'm trying to say. All right. If you and don't forget, you can continue the conversation over on the Facebook group Fiberific Fun Zone. So I will catch you all over there throughout the week. Have a fantastic week. And thank you for joining me to chat about all the ranty things today and help me with this problem. So you guys are fantastic. I'll catch you all later. I'm going to try a thing. I'm going to try a new thing. Are you ready? Here we go. See yous.